At my age, I've seen enough cycles to recognize a familiar pattern. It always starts with bad decisions at the top, like opening the borders and shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline, and ends with people like me getting blamed or pushed aside. But there's a much bigger issue. No one's talking about the pension crisis. Our pension funds are running dry. This, in my opinion, is one of the biggest financial threats facing America today. Why I don't save money anymore. Let's rewind to 1971, the year everything changed. That's when President Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard. From that point on, the dollar wasn't backed by gold. It became debt. And along with it came taxes and inflation. Most people don't realize it, but what schools teach about money is outdated or just plain wrong. They still tell students to save money, but savers are losers in today's system. Why? Because governments like the US, China, and the EU print money out of thin air, causing your savings to lose value. Three types of people when it comes to money. There are only three types of players in the financial world. Investors like me, we buy and hold for long-term wealth. Traders, they flip assets like real estate for short-term gains. Speculators, basically gamblers hoping the next meme coin or crypto shoots to the moon. Most people chasing Dogecoin or Bitcoin without understanding it. Speculators, the system is rigged, and it always has been. After World War II, the US promised at Bretton Woods that every dollar would be backed by gold. That promise was broken in 1971. Now the Federal Reserve, which isn't federal and has no reserves, can print unlimited money. The US Treasury pumps it into banks, and those banks lend it out. But when Fedcoin or a central bank digital currency comes, those banks may not be needed anymore. That's how totalitarian control starts. With a digital dollar, the government could track where you spend, how much you earn, and even limit your freedom based on your behavior. That's not freedom. That's financial surveillance. How the 401k hooked the masses between 1960 and 1980. Most people didn't trust the stock market. Then came the 401k in 1974, designed to herd people into Wall Street. After the 1987 crash, Alan Greenspan introduced the Plunge Protection Team, essentially the government stepping in to stop stock crashes. From that point on, boomers trusted that the government would bail them out every time the market dipped. That's why 20% of American corporations today are zombies. They survive only because the Fed props them up. What I invest in and avoid, I avoid 401ks and IRAs. Instead, I create assets. I own 7,000 rental properties that generate monthly cash flow, money flowing in, not out. I prefer gold and silver over stocks. Why? Because all central banks hold gold. They won't let it crash. Crypto, on the other hand, is vulnerable. The government doesn't like what they can't control. If a digital dollar becomes reality, crypto could be wiped out overnight. The power of debt. Most people fear debt. I use it to acquire assets. When the 2008 crash happened, I borrowed $300 million tax-free to buy real estate at a discount. That's the secret they don't teach in school. I don't work for money. I use debt to make money and pay no taxes legally. Even companies like McDonald's use this strategy. They make money selling burgers but own the land underneath. That's why they don't pay much in taxes. What's next? The real estate market is overpriced. Student debt is crushing millions. Social Security is drying up, and inflation is out of control. Meanwhile, derivatives have ballooned from $700 trillion in 2008 to over $1.2 quadrillion today. We're not fixing the system, we're just printing more money. This is a bubble economy, or as I like to call it, bubblenomics. You don't need a PhD to see where we're headed. Student loans, entitlements, pensions, everything is stretched thin. And what happens when baby boomers retire and there's nothing left in the pot? We're entering dangerous territory. I'm not saying everything is going to collapse tomorrow, but we're on a fragile path. It's time for people to get financially educated and stop trusting a broken system to save them. Because here's the truth, the rich aren't crooks, they just play by different rules, and those rules are available to anyone willing to learn.